Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Green and Gold Over Everything. We are in episode 2, season 2, and a lot to talk about because a little bit of a tough week last week. Not the way most Packer fans thought things were going to go to get things started. I'm going to tell you right now, this Packer enthusiast was, up and down last week and definitely in a weird space right now, but we're gonna talk about all that today. With me, the guys are back. We got D Ruck in the building. He'll be coming back with us. Our man Randell Burns, he's here. We got a lot to get off our chest. I think there's a vent session in there. You're gonna hear the music tonight. But with all that being said, it's time for Green and Gold Over Everything, episode 2, season 2. Let's get it going right now.
Here's Love. Taps it a couple times. Going end zone. Caught. Dobbs. Touchdown.
From the Atlanta 32. Off the play fake. Love fires over the middle. And it's caught for a first down. And a touchdown. By Dontavian Alexander this afternoon. Carr taken down on third down. Kenny Clark, the two-time Pro Bowler. 9, second quarter underway. Carr down. Back at the 16-yard line, Rashawn Garrett. Here's Reed. And Reed wins. And Reed got a block and a touchdown. Looking coach's way. Takes it behind. He's sacked by Luke Van Ness. Here comes the Chiefs. Pressure's on. Love. It's a Wilson. Oh, did he catch that? He did. Stops in motion. Love. Flips it to the end zone. Touchdown. Melton's got that one. And Jones runs down their face. Fake it to him here. Love. Back foot. Has a man wide open. It's going to be caught by Musgrave. Racing towards the end zone. He is in. Touchdown. Green Bay. 35. 4-man rush. Prescott fires for Colts. And it's intercepted. Jair Alexander. He's got it. Up on his feet. Racing to the end zone. It is in. Touchdown. Green Bay.
Yeah, we are back, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, Green and Gold Over Everything, episode 2 in season 2. I'm excited because my guys are back in the building with me. Very, very excited. First of all, go ahead and give love to my guy, the Ruck Report in the building. My man, Dishon Rucker. Dishon, what's up, bro? What's up, D?
What's going on, good brother? Can't wait to talk about our green and gold. Just glad to be back. And yes, I do kind of like Goot this year. Yes, Burns, it's okay.
Kind of like good. And of course, you can't forget about my guy, Mr. Randell Burns. Randell, what's up, brother?
I just want to take my victory lap because, like I said before the show started, excuse my language, that man been drafting his ass off. That man can draft. Yes, I don't know if Matt can coach, but that man could draft.
And that could be the problem at hand. Look, we're so glad to be with you all today. Guys back in the building. Of course, we want to get things started. We got to talk about last week. Last week didn't go the way we would like. We saw the Philadelphia Eagles win 34-29 over the Packers in Brazil. It was a tough week for certain instances, mostly because our guy, J Love, on the shelf. Love is going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks. It's fluctuated. We've heard 6 weeks at the max. We've heard it could be. Heck, we heard he could play this weekend. Mm-hmm. It better not happen. I will fight you. We will all come up. We'll take the flight to Green Bay, and we will personally start. We got to kidnap him. That's a wrap.
Look, you're not playing back. Put an extra black champion sweatsuit. Let's go.
We're not playing around with this. We cannot allow that to happen. So fellas, I kind of want to get your initial thoughts on everything and what you thought about the game. Randall, I'll start with you first. You had a chance to look at it. What were your thoughts overall about the contest?
It's funny. Ruck has said something. Matt's too nice. And I think about it. Brock Purdy was playing in the preseason. Brock Purdy was playing a lot in the preseason. Make these boys play in the preseason. Because it just looked like these dudes hadn't done nothing. Like they thought they were just going to roll out there and pick right back up like it was Dallas. No, man. Make these dudes play. Like Love was missing throws. bad communication. You know what? It looked like the start of last season all over again.
Right.
Like that's the team that showed up. The team that was making all the mistakes. Like they can't use the "we're young" excuse anymore.
Nope.
Matt can't use the these guys are new. Nah, man.
Y'all made the playoffs.
Y'all made the playoffs. Y'all whooped the Cowboys. Y'all took the 49ers down to the last drive. And then it really hit home for me watching how efficient, how angry the 49ers played, how cool, calm, and collected Purdy is. Mm-hmm. Like, Jordan doesn't have to beat Aaron. And it was funny to watch Aaron in that game beat Aaron from like the last 2 years in Green Bay, where like, I'm going to feed Garrett the way it was Devontae, and every now and then I'll throw to Lazard. I appreciate that Jordan spreads the ball around. You don't get no mean looks. He's going to keep coming to you. But just be the point guard. You got playmakers. Just distribute the ball. You don't got to play hero ball. And as much as it hurts me to say this, because I love Brett, hero ball is kind of dead. Like, even Pat don't really play hero ball unless he absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And if Pat Mahomes don't got to play hero ball, you don't got to play hero ball. Just distribute.
So there's something to that point that you just said, like, and this brings you back to what we've been talking about off camera. Pat Mahomes doesn't have to play hero ball because Andy doesn't put him in those situations.
Right.
When Pat 100%. Mahomes plays hero football, it's because Pat has seen something himself that says, okay, let me keep a defense in this type of form. Let me keep this personnel on the field. I saw something that we didn't go to. Let me go to it because I can exploit it, right? But Andy and most coaches don't put their quarterbacks in these type of positions. Going back to the 49ers. And I feel like this is the league in itself. Everybody that you hear on these podcasts, especially people that have gotten out the league recently, like I was watching Jason Kelsey on The Pivot, and he talked about how much practices were different in his last years than they have been ever. So if guys aren't hitting now and they haven't been hitting for the last 2-3 years, they need to play in the preseason, especially if you want to continue the growth of a team. If it was my team, and so let's pause right there. But if this was Dan Campbell, the Lions would have been out there because it's a mentality, right?
Can I interject real quick?
The mentality.
My coworker, he is a Lions fan through and through, the same way we're Packers fans, watches everything, listens everything. And he said he's like sometimes he gets worried because of how intense these practices are. But then when that game rolled around on the other day, he saw the difference. That overtime came. Who was able to grit it out? And it's like, yeah, some guys are going to get hurt, and you hope it's nothing catastrophic in these practices.
Right.
But that pays off.
It pays off.
I mean, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to kind of do it because the thing is, we know that they've scaled everything back in the league. They want to be safer and they want to play. And I understand that completely too. But you definitely do see the difference in a team that has, worked some of their play, even if it's a quarter. You say, okay, you got the first quarter, you out after that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Love hadn't played since the beginning of August. And so
what do you have, that one series? And that was it in the preseason, right?
One series, he got a bomb to Wicks. He got everybody hyped. I know. I was like, whoop, whoop. Wicks didn't
we all said it because we were in the chat that day and we all said it collectively. Okay, sit down.
Yes, we did. We like protection.
Yeah. All right, everybody, sit down. We said it.
Yep.
But I think what you see is everything in sports is chemistry, right? And it's a rhythm. So especially in football, you have to be in some type of rhythm. So for us to kind of start week one like this, have the up and down, it's tough. And Matt, this is your bag now. This is your bag. You've been cooking now for a year and a half. This is everybody in other positions. Even if he didn't want Jordan to be the starter as soon as he did, everybody in these other positions, he signed off, right? So we got to see it. We really got to see it now.
Yeah, and you said this on that because I want them to provide some clarity on that because there was a good article in Athletic, and I remember when we drafted Jordan, Goop put it on Matt, and then I read the article in Athletic. and they're asking Goop, when did you know he was your guy? He said he went to see him play LSU and they got beat 42-6. And he said, but that mother effer was still trying to win the game in the fourth quarter. And then he said he went to a Texas Tech game and Jordan's old offensive coordinator was at Texas Tech. And he asked, he was like, what do you like about him? He was like, the dude has incredible arm talent. He's never going to stop trying to win. And he said that's when, and then when the draft rolled around, he asked himself, like, am I going to let a fourth round pick stop me from taking this dude? So they trade the fourth to move up. Is Goop trying to own it now because he's good, or was it Matt that wanted him? Because at the end of the day, you the GM, you did go scout him and everything. Was it collective? Like, that's kind of, I wish somebody just step up and be like, yo, this was the guy I wanted from the get-go.
Yeah. That's the funny thing, Burns, because when you look at it, I feel you on that. Because we all know, like, Matt cried when Aaron left. Like, we're not gonna sit here and act like he wasn't like, oh no, because he knew, he's like, I know I'm a good coach. In his mind, he knows he's a good coach. I'm not gonna take too much away from him. He's a little soft, love him to death, but he is a good coach. When he wants to be, he can do good things. The thing about it was, that's when I knew, I'm like, yeah, Matt really wanted Aaron to stay, and if he could have had Aaron until the time was that he would have stuck with Aaron until the bitter end, until Aaron said, "I'm out of here," and he retired. And I think Goot was just like, "Look, just take this heat." But
crazy
but now it's like, yeah, hey, he's my guy. I did this.
In the article that they asked, they said, "When did you know Love was ready to take over?" And it was the season that before. Remember when Aaron was just not coming around and. Mm-hmm. That last dance season, he said the way he ran the scout team, all practices in training camp, they said Jair was running around all training camp screaming QB number 1 whenever Jordan stepped on the field. And in the interview, they asked Aaron about it. Aaron's like, oh, I knew at the beginning of the season, once I came back from my sabbatical and saw how Jordan was playing, he goes, I knew I was done. He said, that's why you saw me walk off the field the way I did, because he was like, pretty much everybody in the organization knew, like, oh, it's ready. He's ready. He just has to play. Yeah. So now the thing to me is like, okay, if Aaron knew, Jair knew, everybody knew, Devontae, why didn't you stay?
Yeah.
So here's my thing with that. And then, you watch some of his interviews with some of Devontae, and especially just people talking about him. I'll put it to you like this. A girl that everybody knows is bad has been showing you the attention that you always wanted any girl to show you, right? And you can always say, hey, man, I got the one. You're not going to give that up for a chance at something that come out. Like, listen, I don't know. I don't care how bad Lotto is or if people who think Sexy Red is like that. Listen, bro, I grew up on Melissa Ford, Holly Berry. So, listen, I'm staying over here, right? So I think that was the situation with Devontae, but I think at the end of the day, I think it did start to pick up steam around the rest of the team, because the other thing that we kind of overlooked is that in Aaron's last couple of years, that team was still really young. Outside of Bach, Cobb, a couple other people, hell, when Lazard was there, Lazard was very young.
Yeah.
So, young people now go with the vibe, and that's always the young people. That's why they call the old people Unc, old head, OG. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's too much lately. I don't like that.
Yeah, right. So it gets like that, but I think somebody, like you guys said, has to take credit for it, and I think it's got to be good.
Yeah.
So you got to ride that now and say, hey, listen, this is my guy. What we hope doesn't happen is that Matt doesn't understand that he's a little too nice, and the season kind of doesn't pan out the way that he sees it too. And then Goop got to make a choice. Do I stay with my guy or do I sit with the coach? And we all know how that turns out.
Remember, that's not even his choice, the way they restructured the organization. And then Murphy wouldn't make that decision this year because he's gone. It'll be that dude that comes in next summer.
Mm-hmm.
And
so listen, is anybody ever really gone from the Packers organization? Like, even if Mark Murphy steps down, he's still like, them old Star Wars movies where somebody had the vision of Darth Vader walking in the back. Shout out to James Earl Jones.
Yeah, shout out to James Earl Jones.
Like, nobody's ever really going to be gone. So we all know how that happens, right? But again, one of the things that can happen to protect not only the youth movement that we're building is if our coach and our coaching staff steps up and says, hey, listen, this is how we're going to attack these things. We need you guys to respond. Because there were some things like not even just putting it on Matt. I was really looking at our special teams coach once I had a rewatch, and I'm like, I know Nixon is crazy, but are y'all afraid to talk to him? Because he brought a couple kicks out the end zone. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
And Matt being a nice guy took the blame in the press conference. But that's another thing about Bisaccia. He's gotten too much power in the organization. They let go of Welsh because Bisaccia wanted to keep that dude Zane. And every beat writer I saw was like, hey, somebody needs to check the power that Bisaccia has because there's no reason that you let go of Welsh. Because they asked Matt, they were like, Welsh did everything you could possibly do to make the team.
Yeah.
And they was like, but Rich had saying some things, and that was his guy that he wanted. Special teams coach can't be telling you that I'm going to keep this guy a special team. You go find somebody else to play on the punt return, kickoff return.
Hey, listen, we really need to find somebody to be a nickel corner besides him because he's not a corner yet. And I'm serious. Like he may have played that position in college, but as we see, sometimes the translation from college to pro is a little slow for some guys. He's a special teamer, which is great for him, right? I mean, listen, Eric Stokes is still struggling the same way, even though looking at him, he played a little bit better too. But again, there are guys that we can go out and find.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, now you got to kind of see how it all will develop. And losing Welch was something I saw. I said, man, when I saw that, when I was doing my prep for the first episode last week, and I was like, wait a minute, he's not on the team. And I said, wait a minute, Broncos. Come on, man.
Right.
But, hey, look, I got some trust. We hope that they kind of figure that thing out. Last week, we saw here are our players of the game. This young man right here. This is my guy right here. I love this young receiving core. For years we talked about what are we going to do with the receiver. This is the first time in a long time I said we better not dare draft the receiver. For what reason? Not when you have all this young talent and at some point somebody's going to come and be that number one that Matt is crying about all the time that he don't want. Or there's no number ones on this team. But this young man right here, that 75-yard catch that he had when Jordan. That's the best of what I think this team could be. When you saw Jordan make his move, scramble out the pocket, and then hit Reed, and Reed put the burners on, just amazing. 4 receptions, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns in the day. And it could have been another one, but they called the other one back because of I don't know if it was too many men on the field or what it was, but whatever it was.
Too many men on the field.
And I was hot. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? That's a touchdown. So he could have had 3 touchdowns in this contest. Jaden Reed, amazing performance. Fellas, what are your thoughts on this performance?
That's Burns. I'm going to let Burns write that because he's been telling us for a while. Look,
11 is receiver 1. It's the truth. It's the truth.
I love Romeo. I think Wicks can be a wide receiver 1 eventually. But that dog right there,
he the one right now.
That man play angry. That man is 5'11" on the stat sheet, but he play like he's 6'8".
Yeah.
Yep.
Watson got all the talent in the world.
Yeah. He don't have that mind.
No, he's a looks the part.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can't deny anything that you're saying about that boy, but I do still hold out thought that Mr. Dobbs, 8'7", has exactly what we need to. You got to give him a little bit more of an opportunity because he got the talent and he has the mentality too. That boy, and it's so crazy. I just feel like the wide receiver room in general, like we really do got a bunch of dogs. I tell you one thing that I was very surprised and very happy to see in that game. Trying to use Watson in a different format, in a different scheme that kind of suits his physical ability. In the short game with him running that slant that he caught on the goal line, that's the perfect place to put him. And that's when I was like, Matt, yes, now you coaching because now you see what it needs to be. So I'm really impressed. I don't have any complaints with that wide receiver room, including our tight ends at all.
Whew, that boy could draft his ass off.
That boy good. Going to the defensive side of things, we got our man Jair Alexander had a big interception in this contest. He had the one that it looked like the Eagles could have put this thing away for good, and he comes up with a huge pick in the end zone. And 4 tackles, and all 4 of them were solo tackles. The defense had its moments out there, in this contest. Our brand new safety, Xavier McKinley, he got a pick in this contest. So, we get a chance to see, the guys kind of like, there was some moments I said, okay, there's something there, and they're still maybe trying to figure it out. So, Ruck, what were your thoughts on that? When you saw the defense on that, what were your overall thoughts on that?
I thought they played well. I thought that my favorite to watch in the game was Wyatt. I thought he did really well up there with Kenny. I thought they played well together. I saw him in a couple of different schemes where he was 3 technique that he looked really good. Got some good push up front. Burns' boy and one of the biggest Trump supporters we know, Mr. Van Ness, did well too, chasing people down. I don't want to go too much into that.
Hey,
but anyway,
you got to add Kraft to that list too.
Kraft and probably Musgrave, but we already know how them boys do. But defensively, the one thing that I do want to see is I really do want to see Jair become a different type of leader, right? I think sometimes he plays that, and he plays so free that he gives up plays that he physically just thinks that he can overcome. Like that touchdown to A.J. Brown, that was really him being cocky to think that I can jam him at the line and I got enough speed to catch him if he get off of me. And that just wasn't it. I think that was a situation where you play the scheme how it's supposed to be played, you get help, and I'm sure he would have picked something off on that type of throw. But overall, man, I think our defense did well. I mean, okay, you look at the score and you say 34 points, but again, our defense gave us 2 possessions in the first quarter at the 20.
Oh, I'm still
what
mad
more
about
can
it.
you ask for?
I was hot.
So again, and just like we talked about before the show, the Eagles had 20 more plays than we did. So that means the defense was on the field a lot longer. So I think they'll be good this week. I think the Colts do pose some different type of problems. Hopefully we can stop the run a little bit better. Again, one of the things that we've been talking about for years, I like the scheme, but again, the balanced look, I don't know why coaches still can't find the simple thing of putting a hat on the hat, because I think that's what hurt us against Philadelphia. Some of the looks and formations that they came out in, we shifting and moving. And again, like I said before, you don't have a director on the field. Everybody's not going to know where to go.
Might need us a linebacker while we at it.
We talk about it. I'm telling you, the 2 things that disappointed me this offseason to watch was not only 5'9" gone, and again, Burns told us that he retired, but again, I watched Runyon go to the Jets.
Oh my
right?
God. Hurt my feelings.
And you look at the first half. I mean, listen, that right guard position, we were looking like
who was in that right guard? Because they were splitting.
The rookie. They kept putting the rookie in.
Oh man, I can't think of his name.
Morgan.
Yeah.
He wasn't splitting with Ryan.
See, that's the thing. Like I looked. Oh my God, Runyon hurt me big time.
Probably Campbell didn't retire. And I made a mistake. I thought Blake had retired, and then he had some scam things that people said he was selling like fake Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah, that was Blake.
Yeah.
So
Blake Martinez got trouble for that? Yeah, he was selling fake Pokemon cards for thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That's why he came back.
Why? What are we doing, Blake? For what reason? Come on, guys.
Right.
Man, look, I will say this about Runyon. Got a chance to speak with him at the Super Bowl. Got a chance to interview him at the Super Bowl.
Nice.
And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. The vibe in the interview, I was talking about the Packers and the things he's done and all that stuff. The vibe he gave me was that he was gone. And he didn't want to say it, but I knew it. And I was like, what do you think about next year? And what he said, we'll see what they do, and hopefully, we'll see. But he didn't say like I want to be a Packer. He didn't like make sure that hey, I want to stay here. The vibe was, I felt like he wanted to be there, but they weren't going to pay him to be there, and that was the problem. I knew he was going to get more money out on the market, and it's funny because he's a part of Lil Wayne's sports agency. That's how we got connected with him, and he was really cool. I got to take a picture with him, but I knew it. I knew once the interview was over, and just what the way the vibe was going, I said, he gone, man. He gone. They're not going to.
This team is good for letting you know you ain't coming back early.
Well, they don't play games, man.
So that's the thing, though, right? And that's one of the questions I have for you guys. Again, we talked about mentality, and now I'm thinking of just culture, right? All these other teams that we watch that we've talked about, they got a culture where guys don't want to leave.
Right.
Oh, guys don't want to leave here. They just know they ain't gonna stay.
No, but here's the thing. If people know that they're not even going to be back, like word of mouth marketing is the easiest tool to use. And you can't tell me that people don't use it in the league. Like one of the things that we definitively saw this summer in every interview that Brandon Ayuk had, he said, I want to go back to San Francisco.
Right.
They know I want to be there. I know I want to be there. He said, but hey, if something else come up,
I got to do what I got to do. Right.
But I got the answer for that.
But the first thing he said was, I want to be there. We gotta get to that.
We never will because, and let me go back, and I'll ask you all this. Who, as a Packer, has ever gotten a third contract?
Who? If it is one of the quarterbacks, and I don't think I can.
Brett, Aaron,
and that's
and Kenny. When Kenny got that contract this summer,
he got a third
contract.
The beat writers was going crazy. It was like a non-quarterback has gotten the mythical third contract from the Packers. Because once you hit that 28-29, peace.
They be like,
because they believe, and this is from the board to the GM to the coaches, that it's a front office led organization. We pick the players, we put you in a position to win, but when it's time to move on, we have to recycle you out because we're not going to throw big money and you're over 30 something. And now we're tied to it. They want to be flexible with the cash. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong.
But I don't want us to become the Dallas Cowboys. Right?
We won't.
Yeah.
So here's what I say the plus side of that is. What did both Xavier and Josh Jacobs say that one of the reasons they brought him there? It was a young quarterback that could help them win. And the organization mentality is, if we always have somebody good at that position, the free agent we need to get, they'll come. And the GM has to make damn sure he fills in all the rest of the spots.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I mean by us becoming the Cowboys is, like, the Cowboys are the opposite of what we are, right? They're not going to get – the Cowboys will give the big money to the older player. They will do that because their mentality is we need to steal the headline, right?
Right.
But none of those mixes have seemingly worked. If anything, that means that we're not winning Super Bowls with either approach, right? The organizations that we have seen have a healthy balance of veteran leadership with young talent that they can groom and develop, win, right? We marveled at the fact of how good Kansas City was in the early stage of Pat, Tyreek, and Trav, right? The whole time what they did was they kept drafting young defensive players, added older pieces to them to teach them, and waited for that to kind of materialize. Now we're in the midst of watching the dynasty because the Chiefs defense carried them to the last two Super Bowls, but now I know y'all watch week one. Y'all see what they got offensively?
They look scary. They
look, and they got a defense that's young and mature that can hold.
Yep.
So I'm gonna counter that.
Yeah.
That's what Ted in the end and Goot in the early on tried to do for Aaron. I'm gonna draft a bunch of defensive dudes. It didn't pan out at all. But that was the strategy. And remember, we'd always complain, yo, where you get the offense from? Where you get the offense from? Geronimo Allison, Lazard, MVS. If one of them two dudes pan out, well, they were all like 6'3", 6'4", and you could have paired them with Devontae, then it works. And now we have that veteran defense with young dudes.
Right.
But that's when Goot wasn't drafting his ass off. I don't know what happened.
Struggled in the beginning.
And now it looks like you do got the youth on the defense, and McKinney's only, 25, but technically the veteran.
Yeah.
And then you have the youth on offense. It's just, I guess that's the approach right now. But I support him, but he was bad early on trying to figure it out for 12.
So I pitch it back to you guys. Like, what was our discussions in all our chats last year? Or at least me, I'm screaming at y'all every chat, every morning. We need a vet. Give me somebody in here that know who Teddy Pendergrass is. Please.
You know how I felt about that. I was screaming for the vet.
Right. Burns is the only one saying, nah, I want little Yachty in the locker room, and little baby, and little Uzi Vert. Look, here you go again. What
we got? Fuck number. But you know what though? Here's the thing, and that's the thing. Like last year, I felt like it would have benefited them as a whole, even if they were 1 year guys, just to kind of help push the young guys through. I wasn't expecting a lot of those vets to be there long term. Like Mercedes, we talked about this last year.
That's the one we should have kept.
If Mercedes was there, he's really helping those two young guys, and they're good. They're doing good things now. But just imagine it with Mercedes. Mercedes sitting in Chicago just chilling. Like he could be in Green Bay just chilling. And helping those two young guys along. That's what I would have liked to see.
Yep.
I didn't want veterans that would like come in and take time. I just wanted more of like teachers to help those guys. I don't mind them being the 5th receiver or the 6th receiver on that team, but somebody to kind of help the young guys get through those processes. Because sometimes you need that player that's beside you to kind of give you that, and not the coach.
Slow down, man. Hey,
right. And say, hey, man, hey, young blood, you hit somebody with you. Hey, young blood, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was looking for, though. But
you're right.
You know who the perfect vet would be for us right now? And I already know that Burns is going to be like, hell no, he about to write another note. Watch. Go get me Pat Pete. Get me Pat Pete. Pat Peterson. Give me Pat Peterson.
I don't know.
Put him back. See, look, here come the note. But what I'm saying is, put him back there to give some of these young guys some tips. What we got?
He runs a 4.9. Look, don't want him back there.
Look, put him at safety. The only time you're gonna play him is goal line.
All right, Pat, get out. Go ahead, Pat, get out there. Like you got this.
Listen,
look,
I would put Pat Pete in the nickel right now. Besides putting Nixon out there, I promise you, I would. I promise you.
You can put Sam Shields out there instead of him.
Keep my job too.
Shields. Putting Sam Shields out there crazy, but I feel what you're saying though. I feel what you're saying. He said, put Sam Shields out there. Did you see what happened? But yeah, tough game overall for the Packers. I mean, they lose this one, but that's not the worst thing that happened in this situation. Obviously, losing Jordan Love was the bad thing, but this week we have to worry about another young quarterback here, and AR. Quarterback. They're starting to call him AR. So I was in a whole chat with somebody, and we're just conversating, and they were just like, "Yeah, AR." I'm like, "Whoa, you can't just throw AR out there. There's only like one real AR."
So he was calling himself that at Florida.
Yeah,
and then after that shooting happened, he was like, "You know what? I need to change my number from 15 to something else." No, dead ass. That's what he said.
He's like, "No more." So yeah, we see this matchup happening in here in week 2, and the Packers are hoping to right the ship from the first week and hopefully maybe get something going their way. And so, fellas, I kind of want to get with you on this one. What do you want to see from game 2? Obviously, Obviously, Jordan is out, anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks, unless he has a magic pill and they decide to play him, which we all will get on a flight and fight everybody in the organization if we need to. But I just kind of want to know, what do you want to see from this game? what do you think? What's the strategy in beating this Colts team with Malik Willis at the helm?
I want old school Michigan Lloyd Carr football. Run that ball 40 times. Then Malik Willis, you can run some too. Then maybe you throw the ball to play action pass. And the defense got to, Aaron Campman got to come over. Kabir Bajaj being me. I want to see that defense. That's the defense I want to see out there.
Aaron Campman, baby, 17 sacks in one season.
Yeah, I need to see them dudes on that line getting after it. Just play smart. Just sound old school football. Like all this spreading people out stuff. Just run that rock. Run that rock.
Run the rock. Let them run. Let them get the business going. I want to see. There's a part of me that wants to see the defense like really step up. Like I feel like the defense is going to have to win us this game. And it's going to have to be like a turnover, just extravaganza. Like I feel like that's what's going to have to happen for them to win this game. Ruck, what you got on this one, brother?
I want the.
Your sound gone. Hold up, your sound gone. There we go.
There we go. I want the exact opposite of what Burns said. I want them to stop the run. So I know we want to see Josh, but I want them to stop the run. I want them to limit them to AR, whatever you want to call himself, throwing the ball as opposed to finding a balance and letting Jonathan Stewart get going. So I want them to stop the ball. I want our defense to get off the field. Third down, let's get off the field. If we can just get off the field, again, I think and I told you guys, I believe with Malik's skill set, he can do some things in this offense that are going to be positive. And I think playing at home is going to be a good thing. I think him having the weapons that he has on offense in front of him is something different than he's seen. He hasn't seen stuff like that in Tennessee. But I think if we have the ability defensively to get after it and stop the run, especially if we can make them a throwing team, I believe in our secondary. Even as crazy as Nixon is, I believe in our secondary. So I think we can get it done that way, stopping the run.
Yeah, I like the young bull that we got there back at in the safety position. I seen him go out there just like a torpedo. A couple of plays out there, I was like, "Whoa, my man out here! Whoa!" It was flying out on the field, and I said, "I like that. Mm-hmm. And I think so far, if I had to grade Halfley's job so far, and it's a little tough because you are playing the Eagles, and the Eagles are a high-powered offense to an extent, but I still would probably give him a high C going into maybe a B- because I felt like they had moments and they did their job on that first drive, on those first two drives, and set the offense up. And as you would say, it just got too cute. And Jordan was he was more just inaccurate in places. I'm like, this is not the time to be inaccurate when we got a chance to put the foot on their throats and take this thing and have everybody like, whoa, the Packers are here. Like, that's what I was hoping. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
How much do you think? Because now I think they said he's the calf injury happened like in the first half. How much do you think that affected him throwing throughout the game in the field?
Well, I think a lot. I think
both teams played on that bad field, but how much I think the calf affected him?
I think a lot.
Yeah, because he
couldn't step into a lot of throws. Like there was the one that he had in the back of the end zone that really should have been the touchdown. I think it was Dobbs, but he couldn't step into the throw, so that's why he threw it that high. I think even on the escape when he got hurt, he was laboring to just move up into the pocket. So I think during the course of that game, as they were looking at him, and even in the replay you saw it, they were working on his legs in the first quarter.
They showed it 9,000 times. I'm like, yo,
they
it's like
they
a bad
were working
omen
on him early, and I'm like, that don't look like a cramp.
Right.
And even honestly, and this is why I'm so grateful that we got the report that we did.
Yeah.
Looking at that play, the way it looked like his Achilles.
I thought it was over. I
really did. I don't know about y'all, but when I looked at that, I was like, damn, that looked like Kevin Durant leg.
I thought the kneecap popped because I saw it move to the side, and all I could think was, it's a wrap. The season's finished.
And not in week one, man. I was like, man, I know you're trying to be like Aaron, but this ain't the move. Not this year. Not with all the expectation with this team, because the one thing I did see in that game last week that gave me hope as I watched them, the confidence level is a lot different than that team that we saw at the early part of last year. They gained some of that experience from the end of last year, making the playoffs, getting that taste and knowing they should have beat San Francisco and letting it go. So that confidence level was different. Like even Jordan's confidence level looked completely different. Yeah, there was some bad throws, but his command of the offense, everything looked different. And I said to myself, like, yes.
Even his poise looked different.
It just did.
I know that he was poised last year, but even he had a different look. Like the one thing that I will give Jordan credit for, and that I think he has, and I've kind of bought into this subscription that everybody else has, he's a high-level competitor. Like he's going to compete. So I was very happy to see just how he looked, how a lot of those other guys looked going into the game, and just his performance. But I really think he was hurt. And I think that circles back to what we talked about in the beginning of the pod. They got to play. If they play, even some of these injury issues, you probably deal with that a lot earlier in the preseason. Week 1, you know?
So I want to ask something, because you mentioned something in when we were texting when the game was going on. You said you wanted him to see the field better this year. Can you elaborate on that?
So what I was looking at, right, is that in football, in the NFL, there are certain routes that will lead you to other routes, right? Like a deep corner is always going to be coupled with a slant somewhere, right? Now that we've seen, like, especially from the Patriots, as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick developed the bunch sets, again, hiding those small wide receivers to get drag routes and other things, there are always different route combinations that you're going to see. The interception that he threw, it was a good bunch set formation that had 2 seam routes. So you had a seam route with the tight end, and then you had a seam route on the outside of him, and then on the other far side of the field, there's another seam route. Anytime that you run a route tree like that, the middle seam is to carry the linebacker and the safety, strong side safety. Once they go up the middle of the field, the linebacker and the safety cover that man. That means those other 2 outsides are one-on-one, and you have a back in the backfield that'll probably be matched up with a middle linebacker, if that, or outside linebacker. So there should be room. He made the wrong read. He saw it, and just like some of what Matt was doing, he tried to be cute. He thought that he could hit him in a position where, okay, I'm looking at the middle linebacker. He's smaller than my tight end. If I give him a good ball, he should be able to outmuscle him in front of the safety. But there was no room for it. The linebacker had undercut the route perfectly, and the safety was already biting on it because he's saying, wait, he's going to try this. So let me just wait here. But if you go back and look at the tape, look at the interception and play it. Those 2 outside routes are wide open. And he has to make a better read that way. But again, I think what you do for him, for Jordan in his second year, is you give him easy reads. You give him a drag route with a slant on top of it or corner. You know, you give him an outside release. You move the pocket like we hope Malik gets this week. Because I think one of the things Malik Willis does is that he throws very well on the run, but you got to move the pocket because of his size. So there are tons of things that coaches could do to kind of put people in better positions. And I think Jordan has to see it earlier now than he did last year. Because like you said, and I agree totally, we look like we did last year in week 1. Flashes of brilliance and youth and, hey, listen, if y'all don't get this right, we're going to blow y'all out. And then other flashes like, you made the wrong play. You made the wrong read.
That's that Pittsburgh, Denver Raiders type of stuff. I'm like,
Right, yeah.
I want to ask y'all something. Do y'all remember Matt's first couple years where we would be like, yo, he is getting dudes butt naked open? And I feel like that has not been the case the past 2 seasons.
Listen, and I know you're going to hate me for saying this.
But I'm going to say, I think you're going to agree with me.
Yep.
I feel like not having 12 to hold him accountable is the problem. because now Matt's like, it's all my team, and I'm gonna run everything the way I want to run it.
Hey, man.
Where before it was, let me make sure this shit right, or this crazy man gonna get in my face.
And I ain't got time for it. And I ain't got time for it.
I'm about to have a pursuit of happiness moment. I'm about to get the 110 cry.
Don't cry, D-Ruck. Don't cry.
Damn. Yo, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. But here's the thing, and I'm glad, but 12 can't save us. So even when you throw, okay, that flea flicker that we had to open the third quarter, I know it killed me too, and I'm like, man, what the
why?
But I will tell you this, that is you still thinking you got 12 back there, because 12 makes that play on a 2-man route, right? But 10 needs that play to be a 3-man route, not a 2. And there's nothing wrong with that. Make the adjustment. Don't give him, as much as people want to say, oh my, and we heard it all game. Man, look, he looks just like him. He's making those off-platform throws.
He's not the same dude.
Now I said, no, it's not. It's not the same dude, and that's okay, because what he is very good for what we are. And we got to be fine with that. But, Matt, it does mean that you're going to have to,
cut the shit.
Bow some stuff up.
You gotta tailor your offense to his game and what works best for him. Why stop trying to make him 12, make him 10 like to an extent.
Wait, I don't even think it's that.
I got one more thing. Hold on 1 second, Burns. Here's the other thing too, right? Y'all watched the Detroit in the Rams game?
Yeah.
Okay. Anytime you see a receiver like Puka go down, you would think that their offense would be more stagnant than it was, right?
Yeah.
Sean schemes it up, so it ain't even just Puka, right?
Yep.
And Matthew Stafford is long in the tooth enough and seen enough to know that there are different things that we can attack, right? But I guarantee you, Sean schemes it up to what happens. Okay, he's gone. Okay, now I need Tutu. Now I need to get Cooper involved. Now I need to get Robinson involved. This is how we're going to attack it. You can't, as a coach, say, I'm going to keep running the same play if you don't have the same personnel. So, again, we can't be cute, Matt. You gotta show me who you say you are.
My thing is, I think there are plays that Matt probably would have called, and Aaron would have said, cut the shit, and he wouldn't have ran.
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't know if Jordan feels like he's in a place where he could say that yet.
Oh, he got that money. He got to start saying it.
But he's got to get he got to get an MVP or get a chip to be able to be like, and it just feels like before it felt like Matt had to be on his game because he had to earn the respect of this veteran locker room. Right. Where now these are my guys. I can do whatever I want. And it's kind of like, nah, man, you like Ruck, you said it. D, you said it. He's a good coach. He just got to tighten some stuff up. Yeah. And then going back to the thing where he's not Aaron, and as much as I talk crap about Aaron, Jordan's arm is not Aaron's arm. That ball at 40 years old was coming off that man's wrist, and he was putting in places where I'm like, only Brett could probably put that there at that speed. Jordan's got a talented arm, but it is not a rocket.
No. I mean, so Jordan's strength is, it's going to sound weird, different platforms and different numbers. That's his strength, right? So if I'm Matt, I'm saying, okay, if I got somebody that is a level thrower, a platform thrower, an angle thrower, besides certain route trees, we got to move the pocket. You got to put him in situations where he can run, plant, change angle, whatever, right? So it's scheme. I think even as we looked at the second half, he had to even change up some of the run calls because some of the stuff that he was giving Josh early, it was clear that Josh wasn't comfortable running some of those schemes.
Right.
It was clear that, you know what, again, with the Raiders, he ran a lot of single back set, but he probably had most of his yards last year with a fullback. So you have to put that in there. We got to know that Josh is way different than Aaron was, because Aaron is going to run through the tackles, right? Josh is looking to bounce stuff outside. You saw him going through with his running back coach on the sideline, like, no, I saw it to go this way. And his coach is like, no, go straight. You know, so there's a learning curve that's going to happen there. But if Matt calls different plays to put him in better positions, we're fine. Here's where Jordan's thing is. Jordan and what he did to the Cowboys last year, he has earned enough to get to the line and say, no, I want to run this. He's earned that.
Right.
But he has not earned the you crazy as hell, I ain't running that. He hasn't earned that.
In due time.
Yeah, so he's got to string together more wins. And even for him, you got to think that some of that plays into his mind in terms of him trying to come back sooner.
Yeah.
I think he understands the sense of urgency, right? Because for Jordan, even though this is second year, he's watching CJ Stroud. He's watching Anthony Richardson. He's watching some of these other young guys that are taking steps, and he knows he needs to be there with them for the next group. So, you know, but we got one though. I will say this.
We're
Burns was absolutely right. We got one.
Yep,
we do. So we just gotta keep building around it.
So you know what's crazy? Back to our athletic article, and it was amazing. Josh Myers' dad died during training camp, and they said the Packers let him use a private jet, and he walked on the jet, and it was like, you know, one of the O-line coaches, the offensive coordinator, and Jordan right there. And then that's when Goot was like, this is our leader, like the dude. Well, you know, and Jordan said he took this from Aaron, and he said, I'm not trying to knock Aaron, but he said, one thing I was told was when certain players get money, they're not one of the guys anymore. Mm-hmm. And Jordan said, my job is to always be one of the guys. So they were talking to dudes that didn't make the team. They were like, yo, this dude came up to me, made sure to know my name all throughout training camp. When I got cut, he came up to me, dapped me up, was like, yo, let me get your number. Let's stay in touch. And he was like, and the dude really still stays in touch. And I appreciate that, because I remember you would hear the reports from guys like, yo, Aaron's locker's over there. We all over here. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's going to be like in 10, 13 years, but hopefully he keeps that mentality.
Yeah. I think he was raised right. You know, we've seen everything. You know, we've heard the stories about his dad, and we heard the stories, you know, how his mom, you know, persevered through everything. And that makes me happy, because I know we're in a good spot. And so that part, I'm like, yeah, we're in a good place. All right, fellas, look, before we move to our last segment here.
Let me say this. And that boy got some pride. I'm not going to say it explicitly. For those that know, most folks come up to Green Bay. They start liking a certain flavor of ice cream, and they stick with this flavor of ice cream. My boy Jordan got some pride in himself and his people.
I'm proud of
him. He didn't pull the A.J. Dillon, the Devontae Adams. Got some pride. Hey, Dr. Umar be proud of that man.
You trying to say that Jordan still come to the games with his plates wrapped in aluminum foil?
Yeah, he got that Dirk Nowitzki flavor going on. he got the Dirk aluminum foil thing going on.
Sir.
Yeah, but
that man took her to Paris and said, "You're gonna be my wife," before he signed the contract.
That's right.
My man,
my guy. And then when I heard the story, and I sent it in a group chat, and then I heard the story, and I watched the story. Like they've been together for a hot minute, so it's not like she's a flash in the pan. Like, you know, he was out there, you know, he really liked her. He brought it. I'm like, yeah, and they just look so happy together. Marie Taylor had it in. I didn't even know her and Marie Taylor were friends. I'm like, look at this, man. And so it was just a really good thing to see. He looks happy. Everybody looks happy, and I'm really excited about that. Now, before I go and switch over, because we got my man Chris Lewis coming on, fellas, give me your prediction for the game, who wins, And are we going to be happy next week on episode 3?
We lose, and it's going to be the same headline. Goop got to save us.
Yo, I say we get a win. I say that Malik Willis plays good. I say our defense plays well. We get a win at home to open the books for this year at home for us on the right side of things. And I think we start to find out who the rest of these guys are in this game. I think we start to find out. I think we'll start to find out who Josh wants to be this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll start to see what our backups are looking like this year. I think we're going to see a good defensive performance and them try to put their stamp on this team because 9-7-52,
mm-hmm.
They played well. They played well, and they put a lot of work in this summer. So I think this team knows or is confident enough to have a good season and is still naive enough not to be scared of teams like San Francisco.
Which I think
is a great thing because I think they played well even in that game against San Francisco. For all intents and purposes,
yeah.
we had that team beat.
We did.
Absolutely beat bad. So I think this team is hungry. I think we played well in week 2. But again, my call is to Matt, man. You know, let these people know how good a coach you are.
Right.
You don't have to show off to do it, man. You got enough. Just be a football coach.
I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Say Jordan comes back, we finish the season 500. Do you consider replacing Matt?
Yes.
It really depends. I think it would really depend on.
I'll let you go, but I'll tell you why.
Yeah, I would say that it would really depend on how it goes. Like I need to see if it's feeling like he's losing the locker room. But it also really depends on how everything kind of flows with it. But I think they look into it, especially with the new president coming into town next summer. There's a strong possibility if it doesn't look great, they said, look, we're gonna have to move on. He wants his guy in that mix. So that wouldn't surprise me. But then again, they may want Jordan and him to continue to develop together. So it really just depends on, and it just can't look bad. If it looks really bad, he gone. He gone.
So I say yes because I think it'll be time for a new voice in the locker room. I say yes because I don't think Jordan's progression really hinges on Matt.
I was going to say that.
I think what they have built from last year to this year, the youth that they have, the fact that they have the type of players that they have, I think you can make a change in coach and you don't lose bite in the locker room on the offensive or defensive side of the ball. The only downgrade to that I say, and I know it's for me because it's a home guy, is you can't go out then and get a Raheem Morris, which I think would be a perfect coach for our team. But I think you do get a new voice in there because I think the other thing that it does for us too is it probably lets us get some really solid coordinators that people want to see have real job. Like and again, you already know I'm staying the year of Wakanda, right? So like the perfect for me would have been, okay, it doesn't go well. Matt's going, Raheem comes in, he brings Eric Bieniemy in, he brings somebody else in. I would love to see something like that. But if we get another coach, whoever that might be, because hey, not for nothing, Bill says he sees himself coming back in 2025. I don't think it'll be in Green Bay, but you know,
I don't know.
But a good offensive or defensive coordinator, a solid one, I think it brings something to the team. I think it'll give us a different jolt for sure.
I agree with Ruck because one thing I always keep seeing from the beat writers is they always knock the Matt's coaching staff. They're always questioning the coaching staff and the caliber of coaches he has. And to me, the only person I'd be like, it's got to stay is not, and it's non-negotiable, is Tom Clements. That's the only person got to stay.
Yeah.
You can scrap everybody.
Everybody else. Everybody else.
Because I look at what D'Amico Ryans did, and then I look at these dudes that keep coming out of San Francisco. Like, I don't think Salah's a horrible head coach. I think he coaches the Jets. I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But his defense is
a great defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just like I can't get away from what like Ruck said about the Rams. Like people had them dead to rights last year, and Sean McVay coached the hell out of that team.
He did.
Yep.
He did.
Sure did.
Every time I turn on the 49ers game, the scheme, the offense looks excellent. The defense looks excellent. I look at what's going on in Detroit, and whether we like it or not, it seemed like that boy Ryan Poles knows what he's doing in building the team.
He absolutely does.
I don't know if Caleb's going to be good, but if he's not, it's not the GM's fault. He's put everything around him to be successful.
Yeah, he's
It's ain't the old NFC North where we just going to roll out of bed and at least go 9 and whatever, 10 wins.
No, this is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
It's going to be an absolute dogfight. But like, again, Burns, like even to your point, man, I think sometimes in the NFL, some people go away from certain names, and I think they deserve chances. Like, even as I'm sitting here thinking, another person that I would love to see learn or learn from, Byron Leftwich would do a great job.
I was just going to say that.
He would do a great job in that system. I mean, even as a running backs coach, even though I know he'll never get out the door in Detroit, or he's in Philly, but like Deuce Staley. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are some of the guys that you have to start to bring around, right? Guys that have played the game at a high level, guys that understand the game, and guys that these kids know or have seen enough clips on YouTube to say, all right, that dude knows what he's talking about. You know, because some of these other guys, and you look at the landscape of coaching, like we're in a generation where if guys haven't seen you play, you don't have a lot of credibility in the room.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why I think like Matt will land on his feet. Like if he leaves, of course he's going to
He'll be fine
in San Fran or LA or something like he'll be fine. But there are other people that could come in and not only steady the ship, but I think take it to the next level. But I say that tongue in cheek to say that Matt can do the same thing. He's got to get out of trying to compete with other people's shadow.
He just got to do his thing.
Look how good Sam Darnold looked. Look how good that whole Vikings offense looked.
I was not surprised, completely surprised. Sam Darnold, I think, like 2 years ago when he had that really decent start at Carolina and then he got hurt and things fell apart, people were saying like, yo, Sam Darnold was out there giving people work, and he just hasn't had stable situation at all. And McConnell's a really good coach. I mean, I'm not going to take anything from last year was a little rough, but they still almost kind of like made the playoffs with 4 different quarterbacks.
But listen, he's a good quarterback coach.
Yeah, and I trust that when it comes to him. So we're going to see. I mean, the division is going to be something to behold over the season. Well, fellas, look, thank y'all for coming on. Truly appreciate it. Be back next week. We're hopefully in a good mood next week. That's all we can ask for. The Packers take on the Titans next week. So if Willis is still in at quarterback, they may have a little chance at a little revenge. Now, everybody heading on over to the game preview. We're heading over to the game preview. I got my guy Chris Lewis coming on from Sports After Dark to talk a little bit about the Colts and what they need to do to, I guess, try to beat us, but that ain't gonna happen.
Hey, fellas, do me a favor though. Make sure you know how to operate your phones. Just
that's
saying.
all you know.
Oh man,
don't go live. Don't go live.
Yeah. Can't. Woo, boy, you talking about getting in trouble. All right, everybody. We'll see. Ruck and Randell will be back with me next week. Now we head over to Chris for the game preview. All right, y'all are wondering, game preview. We didn't do one last week. Last week, I didn't bring anybody in. I was so hyped about the game that Friday, I said to myself, man, who can I bring in for week 2? And immediately I knew I had to have the right person to come in to talk about the Colts and the Packers, who will go at it on Sunday from Lambeau Field, be the Packers' first home game. They were in Brazil for that first one. But the Colts and the Packers taking on each other. You got technically still 2 young quarterbacks going at it in this contest. But with me today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited because this will be the first time that my man, Chris Silu Lewis, co-host of Sports After Dark and Colts Insider, NFL Insider, my guy, joining me today. We're in a fantasy football league together. You know, all that good stuff. We got that stuff going on. Hey, Silu, man, thank you for coming on, bro. How's everything going?
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. Everything's good, man. I ain't gonna say everything's good because Colts did get some bad news today.
Oh no! What? Go ahead, give me the bad news.
Yeah, so Juju Brents has an MCL injury, which it seems like MCL injuries are going on.
It's crazy, right?
Throughout the league this year. Like week 1, everybody got an MCL injury. But Juju Brents, our starting corner, has an MCL injury, so he's out. So he's supposed to be having surgery, and at first, like the national media was reporting that he'll be out for the remaining of the season. But the Colts reporters were saying that after his surgery, then we'll find out the timetable, and it could be as early as December, or mid-December, where he returns, or he's done for the season.
I'm telling you, that MCL, man. Look, you ain't got to tell nobody about MCL right now. My season flashed before I said, oh, I was like, oh, I was watching. I said, as soon as I saw him hit the ground, and I saw him like jump twice. Oh no. When I saw him reach for the leg, I said, that's not good. That's not good. So I am extremely blessed that they said 3 to 6 weeks. I'll take it. I just need Malik Willis, or if they decide to go sign Ryan Tannehill, if that even happens, whoever, just give me 2 wins until he get back so we can be reasonable. Because we got I'm not going to say a light part of our schedule, but we have a part of our schedule where they're winnable games because they got some tough ones coming. Texans, Dolphins, you got the Rams at some point and San Francisco. So like the bad boys are coming, and you want to kind of, have a decent run out. So we'll see. But
and what's crazy is I don't even know when he tore it because he played the whole game. So they said he finished the game. Like Juju finished the game, and they say he tore it at some point during the game, but he just thugged it out and finished the game. So
man, that's tough.
That's crazy.
It's tough. I mean, and that's the thing, like even Love, they kept zooming in on him, massaging his calf muscle like the whole game. I'm like, this is a bad omen, man. Just take him out now. Like whatever it was, I don't like the way they keep showing it. Like, can y'all not show this? Like, what's happening here? Yeah, man. But it's okay. This week we both come in with players with MCL injuries, but Chris, I wanted to get with you, man, and kind of break this thing down a little bit. I want to know your 3 keys to an Indianapolis Colts victory against the Packers on Sunday.
Yeah, so for me, my 3 keys are AR has to be consistent. He has to be consistent with the short to intermediate throws. As far as his accuracy, he was missing high on some of his throws this past week. I mean, and granted, we were still in the game because the deep ball was hitting, like, it was just hitting. We got to tighten up our run defense. Really, for me, it's just the run game in general on the offensive side and the defensive side. We gotta get our run game, get our running game going on the offense, and then tighten up our run defense on the on the other side of the ball because we gave like 213 rushing yards to the Texans, which that don't really happen. And then we got to get pressure on Malik Willis. He was with the Titans before, so he was in our division. We don't know how LaFleur is gonna use him because he's been with y'all for like 4 weeks and we haven't actually seen him play in a Green Bay uniform. So we don't know how you all are going to utilize him, but we had to get pressure on him. Just from what I've seen from even last week when he got in the game, he was flustered when you got some pressure on him. And then even with the Titans, it was the same thing. So we got to be able to get home with our defensive line.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on this. I want to go ahead and say something. We had our draft show with our man, The Real Deal, with Damian Adams. So shout out to DA, one of our guys. During this draft, we talked about AR, and it's like, yo, man, there's only one AR. I'm gonna formally apologize, semi-apologize, because I know it was one game, but the first person that came to my mind last week when I saw him out here letting loose. I mean, talking about throwing cannons. I mean, on point. Those passes that he threw, I said to myself, okay, he AR. I said it immediately. He has the right, for now, I'm going to go ahead and let him use the name because he looked amazing on those. But throughout the game, he looked amazing. I thought as the game was going on, I said to myself, wow, look at this Colts team. They come out fighting. It's a division rival. Everybody's been talking about the Texans and how good they're going to be, looking past the Colts. And they just came out and said, no, pump your brakes. Don't forget about us. They not
we got
like
something
us.
for y'all.
Yeah, we got something for y'all. So
yeah,
I so formally want to apologize to you on that. You can definitely call him AR all day. I thought that he did a phenomenal job, and the team just kind of came together on that. Hopefully, in game 2 when they play, it's a different story.
yeah, not for sure. I mean, it would have been nice to come out with the victory, but I mean, and that's the thing. Like the deep ball was hitting, like. The two to Alec Pierce, the intermediate throw, the dig to Ashton Doolin that went for a touchdown, but like we missed Adonai Mitchell on a couple of throws. And I mean, I'm pretty sure he wanted them back. Like I'm pretty sure he wanted those back for sure. So and if we hit those, it's a whole different ball game. And I mean, he even got us the opportunity to win the game. Like we went down 2. Or we went down, scored, was only down 2 points. Defense had to make a stop to get us the ball back. And I mean, CJ and Nico just made a beautiful connection on the sideline with a defender draped all over him. It's just a beautiful connection on the sideline. So, game 2, hopefully it'll be a lot different. And then week 2, hopefully week 2 is a lot different for us as well.
Prayerfully, look, I feel you because I'm the same way. I need it not to go that way. I want to see AR 2.0 do really well. I don't want him to do too well. I don't think he's embarrassed in Green Bay. That's all I'm asking. I can't. 0-2 gonna be rough, but there's a strong possibility, especially with a hungry young coach team. I love what I saw from them. I'm gonna give my keys real quick here for a Packers victory. I think we kind of got some things that are similar in here. We both talk about the running game. My number 3 on here is get Josh Jacobs and that running game going early. It's going to be critical with Malik Willis being the starter now, or at least starting for now until they figure out whatever's going on. And Josh Jacobs, you bring him in the big money. Emmanuel Wilson, who had a really good preseason. And so those guys kind of have to get things going. We haven't seen Marshawn Lloyd yet. I'm not even 100% if he's going to play or not. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. But if they can get the running game going, I think that's going to be critical. Number 2 on that list, Anthony Richardson being uncomfortable. I need Kenny Clark and the crew, all those guys, to try to just put as much pressure on AR as they possibly can. Here's the thing. I don't know if it'll matter. Because after what I saw last week, I'm like, I don't know how much that's going to matter. And I still think that AR is looking for a true statement game. He's still early in his career. I just hope he don't use this game to make that statement game because it's coming. And when it does come, somebody's going to be hurting. I just don't want it to be the green and gold in the process. And then number 1, you got to make the game easy for Malik Willis. It's been documented on what what things have looked like for Malik so far in his NFL career. It hasn't been the nicest thing in the world. A lot of people, already, he's a 3rd round pick, but a lot of people saw him as the first quarterback coming off the board in that 2022 draft. And now that horrific 2022 draft, a lot of people saw him as that, that 1st round quarterback that ended up going in the 3rd round. Things just didn't go out in Tennessee. It's so bad that the Tennessee said, you know what? We're going to drive ourselves another quarterback. And that's how bad that was. So make it easy for him. No, don't try to break the wheel. Don't try to get him out here throwing 47 8-yard bombs. He ain't AR. So let's not do that. So let's just be smart about it. And hopefully, this week of practice has gotten him where he needs to be. But those are the things that I kind of see.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I agree with you. And then especially like I said earlier, Juju Brent's going down. Now we have to figure out who's going to be the second quarter or cornerback opposite of Jalen Jones. Because Juju was CB1, but Jalen Jones now probably moves to CB1, and now we're looking for who's CB2 going to be. We got Samuel Womack. We got which we signed him off of waivers from the 49ers. We have David Long Jr., who was a part of the Rams team that won the Super Bowl. We just signed Kelvin Joseph to our practice squad. So now, I mean, we really looking at, what's going to happen with that second cornerback position. So, and y'all have receiving weapons out the yin yang, like y'all receiving
young
weapons
guns,
are
baby.
crazy.
I call them the young guns. Yeah, the young guns look great. I mean, we 6 deep.
Yeah,
no
I know, man.
No Diddy, pause, all that good stuff. It's 6 at least. I mean, from Wicks to Milton and Heath and all those young guys. Like, this is the first time in a long time I'm like, they used to be like, oh, Aaron needs a quarterback. He needs a receiver. I'm like, nah, Jordan don't leave receivers. Even the young tight ends have been playing really well. So I give our, GM Goot a lot of credit because he was able to find these gems, even though when I was fussing and yelling, say, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing. He has so far proven me wrong, and I'm glad that has been the case. Let me ask you this, brother. Like, this Colts team, tough first week. And we still got a strong 16 games to go. What is the outlook that you see for this Colts team throughout this season? What do you want to see from this team, and how far do you think they can go?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the end goal is always Super Bowl, but
Right.
I don't think we're there yet. Like, I don't think we're quite there yet. So for me, it's really like, I want to see that we're heading in the right direction. So like, it starts with winning the division, which I still think our division is very winnable. Everybody lost this weekend besides the Texans because they played us, right? So like, and we only lost that game by 2 points, and we were in that game every moment of that game. Whether we were clicking or not, and whether the Texans were clicking or not, we were both like, we were both going at it. It was like, it was a fight. So to me, it starts with winning the division, because we haven't won the division since it's been a while. And specifically since Chris Ballard has been our GM, we have not won the division. So so it starts with that. But I mean, my thing is, even if we don't win the division, at least make the playoffs. Like, at least make the playoffs, wild card, whatever. Like, we gotta at least get there. But I mean, my thing is, I want to see AR progress throughout the season, and I think he will. I want to see that natural progression from him, that he's understanding the game, more and more, able to hit those short and intermediate throws more consistently, getting his footwork right, as the season goes. Because the biggest thing was he needs reps. He just needs reps. He started 18 games since high school, and that's including the game that we just saw him on Sunday.
Right.
So yeah. So that just should let people know how raw he really is. But listen, man, if he continues to progress, to me, like this year, I said our floor was 8 games, and I believe our ceiling is 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think to be honest, I think we land somewhere in there. And if he progresses ahead of schedule, then I could see us winning 11 games.
And that's the thing about this Colts team. Like, maybe on paper you'd be like, well, who are these guys? But I feel like you guys are going to be competitive throughout. Like, no matter, there's going to be some games you guys probably shouldn't win that you win. Yeah. And there's going to be some games that you probably lose that you shouldn't lose. And I think that's kind of how it is. But I think as enthusiasts of these teams, you being a Colts enthusiast, me being a Packer enthusiast, we want just to see growth throughout. Yeah, we know we made the playoffs here. That's fine and dandy. Still the youngest team in football. There's still a lot of inexperience on that team that needs to, kind of play out over this season. And this test right now that we got with Jordan Love is going to be huge. Yeah. Because now you got to see if Matt LaFleur can get this team still rolling without a star quarterback at the helm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be a key for Green Bay.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I like Jordan Love, man. I like Jordan Love a lot. Like, before last year, I wasn't really sold on him, but then when I found out he was going to be y'all starter, like, I figured like Matt LaFleur could really run his offense now. And right. and Jordan being there for 3 years up until that point or whatever, he could really run his offense now. And like, even last year before the season, I was like, yeah, Jordan Love going to throw for like 4,000, at least 4,000, and have this many touchdowns, this many interceptions. And I was like, it was spot on. So I'm expecting big things from him. And it sucks seeing him go down last week. So prayers up, hopefully a speedy recovery and everything, and he can get back doing what he do, because I think he's special. I think he's gonna be a good quarterback for y'all. I don't know how y'all do it, I mean, I guess it's the same with us, because I don't know how we do it either. Where
just find them, you just find them.
You go from Peyton to Luck to AR.
Yeah, some people just get lucky. You had Phillip Rivers you had 2 future Hall of Famers in between there with Ryan and Rivers, so you don't fall off too bad. You know,
exactly.
And that's the crazy thing. Like for us, I've been a Packers fan since I was 7. So that was like I was 7 in like 1991, 1992. So I don't know anything. I like those pre-year Packers when they was out here struggling in the 80s and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like. That's why people's like, that I'm spoiled. I can sit here and tell you right now, when we have losing seasons, it's weird to me. I'm like, bro, I don't know what are we doing here? Like I have to like really just try to disconnect from it, because I'm not used to it. Other sports, Mariners, trash. I love them to death, but they trash. They get on my doggone nerves. But a Mariners fan since I was 10. And what do? They hurt my heart every single time. So
that's funny, because I'm in Seattle and I'm going to the Mariners game next week? Yeah, I live up here, so
see, there you go.
When they play the Yankees, I'm supposed to be going.
Oh, that should be a fun one. That should be a fun one. We're gonna lose anyway, but that's okay. Had a 10-game lead in the AL West and gave it. They told the Astros, "Here you go, Merry Christmas." So, but that's another sport, another day. But yeah, so like I said, for me, it's been a blessing to be a Packers fan, because you had all of that, and so we don't hurt on quarterbacks, and that's it's a very, very good deal for me. I'm happy.
I'm happy. I mean, that's how it is for me. I've been a Colts fan since I was 8. That was Peyton's second. I'm like 98, so Peyton's second year in the league, and we went crazy that year. So, and I've been a Colts fan since then, and it's like I don't know nothing else.
Don't know nothing different. Don't want to know nothing different. That's the key. That's the key. Don't want to know nothing different. So these Steelers fans, I'm just gonna throw them out there real quick before we run away, y'all. Those Steelers fans that complain about Mike Tomlin, who had 17 straight winning seasons. You know how many teams would scream just to be in the mix all the time? And y'all tomorrow, we not, man, shut up. Shut up, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we complaining?
At least y'all ain't having those 1 in 15 seasons, or what, 4-12-1 that landed us the number 4 pick. Like, y'all ain't having those seasons, so relax.
Right. Yeah, man. Go talk to a Detroit Lion fan before this year. They and the Browns fans before the last couple of years, they'd be like, bro, shut up, because y'all don't understand. So just wanted to throw that in there real quick. Hey, CeeLo, bro, I appreciate you coming on, man, and spending some time with us to talk about Colts and Packers. Let everybody know where they can find you, man. And like I said, it's been an honor having you on.
Yeah, again, thank you, man. Thank you for bringing me on. Thank you for even thinking about me when, this week came up, for Colts and Packers. So I appreciate that, a lot. But yeah, you all can find me on Twitter at DropBallsPod. And I'm the co-host of Sports at the Dark. We but we do, Sports at the Dark YouTube. Go ahead and follow that. We have our after hours show on there. And then also on Playback, Sports at the Dark, we kind of host like Twitter Spaces on there. Well, we used to do Twitter Spaces, but now we just switched to Playback. And so it's kind of like that Twitter Space atmosphere, but it's a lot better. We can share videos while we're talking and stuff. Go over like the other day we was watching yesterday we was watching the 49ers game in there. So that was cool. So we had like a live watch party in there during basketball season. We're able to live watch the basketball games. We did that during the playoffs, this past season. So yeah, follow us on Playback as well. And like I said, YouTube, Sports at the Dark, and Drop Balls podcast should be making a comeback because it is football season. And I got to get up there and talk about this stuff, man. I'm a football fanatic.
Get it off your chest, right?
Yeah. I played football my whole life, so football is life for me, man. So we're gonna go crazy this year.
I feel you, man. Look, I told myself like before the season, I said, man, I'm gonna slow up this year, man. Like I'm just gonna stick with a couple things. Like I was trying to back myself out of things. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that this year. I'm not gonna do that. Man, a week before the season, whole different dream. I gotta make sure I get this right. It changed. It's just funny how leading up to I don't feel like doing it. Now I can't not do it. And
Yeah.
I just it's football season,
And
baby.
I be sitting here watching, man. My girl that asked me, she's like, "How many times have you watched the Colts game since Sunday?" Right? I'd be like, "Man, about 4 or 5 times already."
Got to.
And we Tuesday watching the all 22 everything, you know, and that's just what I do, man. I be sitting here after I get off of work, all
Pop it in.
22 on the computer, just looking, watching film. My son be like, "Oh, you over there watching film again?"
I
Yeah,
sure
man.
am, and this should be you. Get over here, son. Look
Let me teach you something real quick, man.
let me show you the love. Come on, son. Let's go. Look, I tell you, I feel you, brother. I feel you. Look, C-Lou, thank you for coming on, brother.
Appreciate
Y'all make
you,
sure
man.
y'all check out this dope young man. He's amazing. Check out all his stuff on his platforms. Y'all make sure y'all go check my man out. I'm Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network. This has been Green and Gold over everything. We'll see you all next week when we talk about the Tennessee Titans coming into town. Peace.